A wrestler's ability to talk may not ingratiate him in the world of mat technicians, but there have been more than a few careers that started simply off a wrestler's ability to drop verbal magic. And nowadays, it's almost a necessity. Just look at wrestlers like Apollo Crews, a wrestler who can't get by on his athleticism alone. He's been criticized as not having a personality, and for better or worse, personality is the exact kind of thing you need to get over in the WWE nowadays. And throughout the years, we've seen many great mic workers, but as strange as it might seem, mic work wasn't always a necessity. In fact, the promo as we know it really isn't even that old. Just think about it this way, for a period of time, wrestlers were treated a lot like other professional athletes. And every athlete doesn't necessarily have their today baseball speech, now do they? And it wasn't until Muhammad Ali, a man that most people will tell you is the greatest showman athlete of all time, that a lot of people realized what a microphone could do for an athlete. And so while wrestling had already been on TV, and while wrestlers already had characters and gimmicks, real mic work, the traits that we associate with cutting a promo today, didn't really establish themselves until the 1970s. Because it was in that decade that we started seeing some of the greatest microphone performers. But if I did have to narrow it down and say who the greatest of all time were, that would be a tough one. However, it is the topic of this episode, because today, Dave knows the top 10 best mic workers in wrestling. This video is actually a special request, so this one goes out to you, Maddie Action, and your soon-to-be bride. Congratulations, and let's begin the countdown. It doesn't matter! Number 10, The Rock. Now, The Rock has said that he treated wrestling like stand-up comedy, and with natural charisma like his, it's clear to see why that plan was just so successful. Armed with plenty of humor and catchphrases from blaxploitation films, as well as borrowing a little bit from the Iron Sheik, The Rock is one of the most engaging wrestlers we've ever had the privilege to hear speak. And he was just so good at it that he was able to transfer his success over to the world of film, and he's been doing quite well ever since. So starting off the list at number 10, we have The Rock.
I've wined and dined with kings and queens. I slept in alleys and dined on pork and beans.
Number 9, Dusty Rhodes. Now, as far as I'm concerned, the American Dream was the one that really got to show wrestlers how to cut a promo if you were a babyface. His working man persona mixed with his whimsical and lyrical way of speaking made sure that listening to Dusty Rhodes was always entertaining indeed. And while a lot of people found it funny the way The Rock used to rhyme, well, a lot of people forgot that Dusty Rhodes was doing it long before. So as far as I'm concerned, the grandfather of face promos is number 9, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes.
What you gonna do when HOGANMania runs wild on you?
Number 8, the immortal Hulk Hogan. Now, Dusty may have started the face promo, but as far as I'm concerned, Hulk Hogan was the one that truly perfected it. Hulk Hogan's popularity brought pro wrestling into the mainstream and made it more popular than it had ever been before. And as it turns out, Hulk Hogan was a lot more than just a simple pander machine that catered to little kids, and he proved that in 1996. After he went heel, he turned from being one of the most beloved wrestlers of all time to also being one of the most hated, and there definitely aren't a lot of wrestlers that could be that good at both. So, at number 8, we have Hulk Hogan.
Well, Austin 316 says I just whooped your ass.
Number 7, Stone Cold Steve Austin. After Dusty and Hogan, the next biggest face was of course Stone Cold Steve Austin. And all you have to do is see his coronation speech when he was crowned King of the Ring and you'll understand just why he is so amazing. That turned the entire wrestling game on its ear, and while Hulk Hogan was good at being a face and a heel, Steve Austin was somehow able to do both at once, which resulted in his double turn with Bret the Hitman Hart at WrestleMania 13. And beyond that, the Book of Austin was actually being written in the ECW. All you have to do is look at his promos during his short time with the company, and you'll realize that that kind of fire, that kind of passion is the exact thing that makes mic work incredible. So at number 7 we have Stone Cold Steve Austin.
You know they say money can't buy happiness. Give me $50 and watch me smile.
Number 6, Bobby the Brain Heenan. While some wrestlers were good at cutting a simple promo once a night, Bobby the Brain Heenan was a great manager as well as commentator throughout the entire show. And commentary is definitely a lost art nowadays if you ask me. Heenan was great and funny, and he also had the ability to really rile people up and get them mad when he needed to. And as a commentator, he really knew how to tell the story and use his emotion to get wrestlers over. So at number 6 we have Bobby the Brain Heenan.
I am the best on this microphone, in that ring, even at commentary. Nobody can touch me.
Number 5, CM Punk. Now the pipe bomb alone gets him on the top 5 for me, but he is a lot more than that. Because aside from that one promo, he has tons upon tons of great ones. And CM Punk has also done a great job of studying the English language. And on top of that, yet again, like so many others, he was also really good at being both a face and a heel. And one of the reasons why that pipe bomb was just so amazing was because it was fueled by raw emotion and real frustration. And while unfortunately his career did end a little early, one of the bonuses is we never got to see that fire go out. He stayed that passionate from the beginning all the way until the end. So at number 5 we have CM Punk.
What about me? What about RAISIN?
Next on the list we have the Ayatollah of Rock and Rolla, Chris Jericho. As he hits the twilight of his career, we can see that even in the PG era, Chris Jericho somehow manages to cut some of the most amazing promos throughout his entire career. It's mind-blowing to see just how good he is. You could throw anything you want at him, and yet somehow he finds a way to make it entertaining. Goldberg doesn't want to work with him? Fine, he just turns it into the Jericho conspiracy theory. PG era? Well, then you're gonna get it. So that's why we have, making the list, Chris Jericho.
Space Mountain might be the oldest ride in the park, but it still got the longest line.
Number 3, the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. Now, if Dusty Rhodes is the grandfather of face promos, then Ric Flair most certainly is the grandfather of heel promos. And he was also able to be a great face as well. Now, throughout their entire career, most people will never be able to cut a promo half as good as Ric Flair could. From his speech he gave when he won the Royal Rumble all the way to the promos he cut with Jay Lethal and beyond, Ric Flair is most certainly one of the greatest mic workers to ever exist in a wrestling ring. And I'm pretty sure he knows it. So at number 3 we have Ric Flair.
The man that last night took such liberties with your mother that he is now recognized as your father in 17 states.
Number 2, Joel Gertner. Now this is a guy I think doesn't get nearly enough credit. He is one of the best mic workers there ever was. Period. He achieved next level mic work in ways that most people could only ever dream of. And he was so good at talking that he was actually able to talk for the Dudley Boys. Do you have any idea how good you have to be to carry that torch? Now I could go on and on about Gertner, but I definitely believe that he's someone that everyone should check out for themselves. So if you have the network, definitely check out some old ECW promos. Believe me, it's totally worth it. So at number 2 we have the lyrical miracle, the sexual intellectual, and a damn handsome man, the quintessential stud muffin, Joel Gertner.
You'll find sympathy in the dictionary between and suicide.
And the number 1 greatest mic worker of all time, Roddy Piper. Now, just as Flair was the perfect antithesis to Dusty Rhodes, Roddy Piper was the perfect foil for Hulk Hogan. And yet again, Roddy was able to get over as both a heel and a face. And just like The Rock, he was able to transfer his skills onto the big screen. And just like CM Punk and Austin, he was able to take his frustrations and his emotion and transfer it into pure gold on the microphone. And just like Chris Jericho, he was a wrestler that was able to transform seamlessly throughout the ages. So at number 1, we have the wrestler that pushed the limits on a microphone more than anyone ever could, Roddy Piper. But there you go, there's my list. Now what did you think? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Thank you for watching, and this has been Dave Knows.